Okay guys, so in the last video we set up our header the way we want it, and again you could have a different logo, you could have a different color background for your page. So yours might look a little bit different. But we do want in this header area, we do want some navigation. Now we can create our own buttons, and in fact we can actually create Photoshop buttons where we can have sort of a more graphic or photographic button if we want to, but for right now we're just going to use the widget library to create a really cool button option available right in the Muse interface. So we're going to go to menus, and you can choose to do a horizontal or a vertical. So honestly, if you choose to have a vertical navigation and you want to relay out this website, that's absolutely fine as well. So I'm going to drag in the horizontal navigation. And right now it only has one button because if you look at the plan for our site, we only actually have one page. And we do only have one page for the entire site, but we want to be able to click on each of those pages and have it drop us down or bring us back up to those different sections on this long page. So as I click on this, and let me bring up that menu again. As I click on this, it's automatically trying to create pages from the top level pages. So back in the design view, all those pages along the top. You can do it all pages, so if you had a ton of pages and you wanted a long menu, you could have that as well, but I don't recommend that. But we actually want to do manual because we want to drop each of these buttons down to different sections of the page. So we'll click manual, and then we're going to choose horizontal direction, and then you're going to want to edit these together so that they all look the same, and then you can choose whether the buttons are a uniform size or the uniform spacing. And this is really helpful if, for instance, you have the word home and then on another button you have projects and portfolio, and that's a really long button name. So if you do uniform size for that, that'll help, or uniform spacing. So you can choose to show the left icon if you want to, show the label, which obviously helps us to understand it, and then how you want it positioned. So right now, if we come in here, see this little plus button when I click? And by the way, when you click once, it's going to click the entire menu, and if you click again, it's going to let you select the label. So if I hit once and one more time, it's going to create a menu that has 3 different buttons. If I click off and click back on, I can then drag that menu out until I get it the width that I want it, and kind of center it where I want it to go. See how it's evenly spaced on the top and the bottom, and then it's perfectly centered. So that's again helping you with the design. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change each of these labels. So again, I had to like quadruple click to get in here. So I'll do about us, and then I think our next section was our skills, and then click in here and our work. Okay, so now what I can do for each of these buttons is I can actually, we'll link those later, but for right now what we want to do is we want to change the rollover states. So if I click on this states option over here, again it's a panel, so bring it up with the window menu if you can't see it, and it's saying in a normal state it's this light gray. So I'll do garish colors, but again I expect you to pick better colors for your scheme and whatever kind of coordinates. So I could choose, I'll just actually choose this blue, make it a little bit darker so it's easy to see, and then I'll click rollover, and I'm going to say, okay, when it rolls over I want it to be orange, but maybe just a little bit kind of a golden orange. That's better. Okay, and then I'll choose the mouse down state, and I can make that so it truly is orange. And then the active state, I'll make that a much darker blue. So that shows us the page that we're actively on. Now this is only a 1-page site, so that's kind of tedious because it'll show actively that we're on all these pages. So you don't have to change the active state if you don't want to. Alright, so that is creating the basic navigation. So again, with all of these, if I wanted to, I could come up here for the rollover and I could do effects, drop shadow, and see how it has a drop shadow underneath it. So when you roll over, you can see that happening. So let's go ahead and click on preview, And this is what our site looks like so far. And again, we're only working on the master page because these are items that'll be repeated. And notice when I roll over, it turns that golden orange and it has the drop shadow. And then when I click, it gets a different color. So it's up to you what you want to do with those. You may style to your heart's content, but obviously you want to use good design choices, make it easy to read, easy to use, and coordinated with whatever color scheme or graphics you have in here. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to create the footer, so make sure you have your social icons ready.